dos, tres, cuatro, cinco, seis, siete, ocho. Uno, dos, tres.
Hola amigos! Welcome to Singing Señorita, where I share lesson plans, organization tips, and teaching tips that I've learned after 23 years of teaching. So today what I want to do is just share with you what my week's plans are for my level 3 class. So last week, Thursday afternoon, it began to snow. So Friday we had a snow day. So it was absolutely beautiful. I'll try to put a picture up somewhere, but I'm going to have to change my Friday lesson plan to Monday. So what we're going to do is go over SMART goals, and I'm going to walk students through the acronym SMART, depending actually it'll be metas because we'll be doing it in Spanish, and they're going to write one personal goal and one school goal, and I'll put a video so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. So that will be on Monday. Then on Tuesday, we're going to learn about formal commands. So the end of last week on Thursday, I refreshed their memory on 2 commands, and then we went into -2 commands. So this week, I have a PowerPoint over formal commands. So as I go through the PowerPoint, they'll follow along with the notes. I've found that these notes help me so much because when I have the notes, the lesson goes by much faster because I'm not waiting on students to write everything. They write the key information that's in the notes. So once we've gone over the notes, which the notes include practice for each section, then what I'm going to do is I've taken, since they learned 2 commands last week, or we refreshed on 2 commands, I have this worksheet where these are all 2 commands. They have to rewrite them in the usted command. Now this would be my normal worksheet, but what I'm incorporating more this year is cooperative learning. So I have my students, the seating chart is strategic for certain students to work together. So the person sitting by their side for the next 6 weeks will be their partner. So I made the same worksheet, but I made an A and B copy. And this is how in my class we work with this. So I have them fold the copy in half. They work with just one. And so person A will put the paper between them where both people can see it. They'll read the question, and then they're going to walk partner B through what they're going to do, what changes they're going to make, how they're going to follow those directions. In this case, what they're going to do to change it into a formal usted or ustedes command. And then once the other partner has to agree. So they have to listen to what the person is saying, and then they have to agree. Then partner A writes it down. Then they flip the paper over. Partner B looks at the question, reads through it, explains what they're going to do. If partner A agrees, estoy de acuerdo, or sí, then they write it down. And then they flip it back and forth, going back and forth. And what I have found this does is it helps students process better through the information that they just learned. So this is typically what I do after we've taken notes. They've practiced a little bit with me on a class-wide scale, and then we bring it down to the partner where they're having to walk through what each step of the process is. And I found that it helps it stick better. So before they do any individual work, I'm releasing the responsibility slowly. They have to talk with partners. And I've had feedback from my students that they really, really like that. Then on Wednesday, what we're gonna do is we're gonna have a conversation in the doctor's office because that's what their vocabulary is about. We started En el Consultorio. And what I've done is this was my in the doctor's office conversation, and I took it and I put it in different squares, and I'm gonna cut it up, and for each group there is a doctor and a patient category, and they're going to have to put this conversation in a logical order between doctor and patient. And I find that this works so much better because the students are they're working cooperatively in the group. So it's not just a stagnant, we're looking at the book, a conversation. They're actually having to participate to figure out what is a logical order. And I really love not just reading for comprehension. Yes, it is reading for comprehension, but then they have to use their logic. So it's more challenging than just staring at a conversation. Then after that, they're going to come up with their own conversation. Then the next day is their quiz day. So typically my quiz days are on Wednesday, but snow day, everything is shifted a day back. So this time it's Thursday. Before we actually take the quiz, we are going to play, I'm going to project this up on the board, and we're going to play Mata Moscas, where each person on either side of the pictures will have a fly swatter. I'll call out the word in Spanish. They have to slap the right word. The first person to slap it gets the points for their team. They love this game. They've requested it. I also have an alternate version. If you don't have a way to project, you could just put the paper between the two students, and they have different color markers. Whoever marks it first gets the point. They also like that one. They request these games. Then we'll take the quiz. Afterwards, they're going to copy their next set of vocabulary from Quizlet. So as soon as they're done with their quiz, they move on to starting the next vocab list. So I have a rotation of vocab lists each week. We typically start on Wednesday, we quiz on Wednesday. That's how I rotate through. So then, since that's on Thursday, Friday, what we're going to do is we're going to have different stations. Each one of the stations will have like what a patient would say to a doctor, and then what the doctor's going to do, or each group is going to have a different color post-it note, or if I don't have post-it notes in that many different colors, I'll just cut out the little squares that will fit. So these would be about the size of a post-it note, a different color for each group. The paper will say the different problems a patient might come in and say. No tengo mucha energía. So each group has to come through and give some kind of usted direction what that person should do to alleviate the problem. So I have like 10 different ones. No duermo bien, siempre estoy cansado. And then they would have to give a suggestion. Now, I'm making it challenging. It'll be easy the first person, but every group that comes through, it'll be increasingly difficult because they can't give the same suggestion. They have to come up with something different every time, which by the end and the last group, that is going to be super challenging to come up with a new thing to say. So these are the different activities. That's probably going to take all of the periods. So typically what I do every single class period, we have a warm-up first, and then we have the practice of the vocab, and then we move on to that. So those are the different things that we're going to do in our Spanish 2 class. I hope you found something that will give you some ideas, some inspiration for your week or for future lesson plans. And I hope you have an amazing week and you've got to enjoy the snow. Adios.